All right. Hey, Dr. Matt Zakreski, how's it going, buddy?
Seth, always a pleasure. Great to see you.
I want to welcome you, parents, teachers, therapists, anybody who's interested in supporting kids with executive function challenges. This is Dr. Matt Zakreski. And what I want to ask you, Dr. Matt, is this. When you have a parent who says to you, I keep hearing about this executive function thing, what the heck is that? How might you respond?
So, executive functioning is the suite of behaviors that are controlled by our prefrontal cortex, the front part of our brain right here. And it's really all the soft skills we need to be successful in the world. So, time management, organization, knowing when to start a task, knowing when to stop a task, being able to switch between tasks. All of those things are executive functioning. And if you have executive functioning deficits, it impacts you in many different parts of your life.
And if they say, okay, well, I think my kid has some challenges with that, how do I know if the challenges or my child's struggles are typical or if this is something I should be concerned about?
The best way to think about it is the difference between can't and won't. So nobody likes to do this stuff that they don't like to do, right? If you're sitting out there and you're like, oh, well, I don't like to weed the garden, but I'll get it done. The difference between that and executive dysfunction is the person with executive dysfunction knows they need to do it, knows they should do it, but cannot overcome the stasis and begin the process, right? And that's really challenging, not only for the adults in that person's life, but also for the person themselves, right? If the kid is sitting there internally screaming at themselves, just get up and do your homework, just get up and do your homework, just get up and do your homework, but it looks like they're just scrolling through Instagram. So the adults in their lives, the teachers, the therapists, the coaches, the parents are like, look at this kid, they're not doing anything, and it creates a lot of tension and conflict in a family system.
So you are one of our speakers, and this is drmattzakreski.com. And then we're at TEFOS 24. You can register right here if you haven't registered yet. But you are one of our speakers this year. And what are you going to be teaching parents about this year to support kids with executive function challenge?
So this year we're going to focus on a technique that anybody can do. And that's why I'm so happy when we were talking about which one to do. We decided to talk about body doubling. So body doubling is this phenomenon that the parts of the brain that do executive functioning, those limitations are a little bit normalized when there's another person involved. So your kid who has a lot of trouble doing homework or chores on their own might just be able to do homework and chores if we have someone along for the ride. So it might be as simple as they get on Zoom and they're talking to their buddy while they're putting their laundry away. Or it might be that they have an accountability therapist, someone to just, we jump on a Zoom and the therapist doesn't necessarily help them do their homework, but your brain learns this is when I do that work. There's a person here who's with me. Now it's time for me to do my homework. So that body doubling sort of, you could see it as like an external battery pack for the executive functioning system, and it allows us to get some stuff done.
And then as far as parents who come to you, and this is your site again, and they're like, okay, who is this guy? Who are you? And someone says, how do you work with kids and families? What's your job? How do you respond?
So I am a twice exceptional adult. So I am gifted and have ADHD. So the work I do is not just personal. Well, the work I do is not just professional, it's personal, right? I know what it's like to be smarter than your teachers and to forget that there's a test. I know what it's like to have a doom pile, and I know the paper I need there is somewhere in that doom pile, and I need to get it, and the shame and frustration that comes with that. So I lead with my neurodivergence as a therapist and say, listen, I can't cure this for you. I can't fix it, but I can give you some strategies that make these things a little bit lighter to carry, a little bit easier to manage, so you can save that energy for doing things you actually want to do. So it's really about neuroscience informed skill building. And that's the whole, that's what my practice is based on.
Right on. Thanks, Dr. Matt. Thanks for being here this year. This is Matt's site. You can subscribe down here for updates from Dr. Matt here. You can sign up and join us for this amazing weekend. Check out the speakers and the lineup and the topics here. And then you can check out the VIP Pass, which is an incredible package we put together for you. Thank you, parents, for being here. Thanks, Dr. Matt.
Thanks for having me.